Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be carrying on with Death Trick Double Blind. Now, if you think back to the last episode, we now have got our hands on the autopsy report, which has some quite revealing things to say about the cause of death. It wasn't the thrown knife. Can I look it up? It was done by a thicker... Instead, the initial stabbing was done by a thicker blade with duller edges, either hiltless or longer than a throwing knife, and likely equal or narrower in width. So, it'd be good to ask some people about this today, I think. What have we actually got on our agenda? We still have got to find the attacker. We still can't talk to Alice. I'm tempted to go backstage and just see if she's here. I'm not supposed to go in there. Trade secrets or something. I don't particularly care, but better respect the client's wishes, or at least not get caught disrespecting them. Okay, so I can't even go backstage and just see if she's there. I don't know how. Maybe I neglected to get it really early on, assuming that she'd reappear, but she never has. Okay. Well, let's go talk to Aideen, because I'm wondering about her sort of fire swallowing equipment, whether that might have something to do with it. So let's talk to her about it. The killer switched the weapon, likely to disguise their identity. It must be important. I might tip the killer off if I go around revealing the cover-up failed. Oh. Well. Okay, so we can't directly ask anyone about that then. So what am I trying to do now? Find my attacker. Let's talk to people about my attack then. So something happened to me on my way here. I already heard about it. From who? I don't divulge my sources. Well, we've only told Chips, so... How did you manage to find these clothes? Oh, she's gone brummy. I called my secretary and she gave me my hotel address. Oh, okay. And I was wondering how you detective your way out of that. Sometimes detectiving just means doing something in the easiest way possible. Regardless, I'm glad you're here now. Are you planning to do anything about the attacker? You are a detective after all. You'll solve this thing, right? Without any clues? Not really. A few things are certainly interesting, but I don't know what they mean yet. And my memory loss is certainly making it more difficult. I can imagine. Anyway, at the moment the case in the circus takes precedence. You don't think the two are related, do you? It's too early to say. But why did the robber target me? I'm not sure what I did that day, but I don't look like particularly wealthy. I'm sure there are plenty of better targets at the circus. She hums in agreement and gets lost in her thoughts. But very few come alone. Huh. That could have made you an easier target. Perhaps. It's dangerous to walk alone in the circus, mister. Maybe you need an escort. She's clearly holding back a laugh, but it doesn't seem to be at my expense. More like she's making a joke I don't get. I'll walk with you. Oh, no offense, but, You don't think I can beat you in a fight? I don't think so. Maybe that's true, but only one of us has been knocked unconscious by a mysterious robber. Well, she's got me there. I think she's the one that told us about that. I asked her about the bobby pin. Alright, I'm not going to waste my slots, so let's see what Rolf's up to. Oh, he's just here, chilling out. Okay, we could talk about the attack. I mean, he knows that it happened, obviously. Talk about the trick as well. So I've learned something about Hattie's knife-throwing act. Does it have anything to do with the magician's secrets? Did you know anything? Wait, you don't mean it, do you? That is, sorry, but please don't tell me. Why, because it's a trade secret? Yes. But Hattie's... You know, she won't be hurt by it, and you wouldn't tell anyone else if I told you, right? No, but it's a thing I was raised not to ask about and not to discuss. Aren't you at least a little curious? Good, I'm not even supposed to know there is a trick of some sort, although that would actually make me feel a little better. Why does it make you feel better? Because it means it's not really that dangerous, is it? I'm a little curious, but I don't want to know. It's not like it's gonna change anything knowing that, especially now that she's gone. Alright, let's try the mysterious attack thing. Well, he already knows about my incident. Look at him. How could I ever pegged him to be a violent, money-hungry thug? I'll never know. That misunderstanding is going to be a permanent stain on my detective career. I don't want to ever bring it up again. Okay, fair enough. I'm going to make sure we've asked everyone available about the attack, then try and find his attacker. I mean, it's not going to be Yan, is it? But maybe she saw something. This time... Okay, so he knows to head to the side ring. A small group is gathered around the rope circle, outlined inside the ring. But in the middle of the ring is a makeshift changing room with curtains obscuring what's within. A few staff members are working busily with something inside, and they're whispering and subtly looking around as if waiting for someone. Just as I poke my head around, wondering what's happening, someone bumps up behind me. Hey, let me go through. It's Yan, poking me in the waist. Her other hand is clutching a box of popcorn. Go through to where? She casually tosses some popcorn in her mouth and points behind her back to the curtains. There, it's me act. Oh. Sorry, yeah, you should go. I watch her slide over and hop under the rope barrier without spilling a kernel from that overfilled box of popcorn. Then she went through the curtain. I have no idea what's going on. The crowd clearly doesn't either, judging by the way they're whispering amongst themselves. Moments later, the curtain opens. In fact, the workers have dismantled the entire contraption. Yan's standing in the middle in a different outfit. She seems to have put on a long, loose robe with sleeves that fall almost to the ground. She's standing on a carpet that resembles a thick cloud, likely made from either wool or cotton. Beside her is a long staff that appears to be surrounded by flying birds. None of this helps. I still have no idea what the act is supposed to be. And then she moves slowly and retracts her legs. She's moved in a cross-legged pose mid-air. One of her hands is still on the staff, but for lack of a better description, she's floating. What? How does she just do that? It must be the cane. She's holding on to it. It doesn't look like. She levitates on top of the cloud effortlessly, looking a little bored. In fact, when I focus on her face, it looks like her mouth is moving slowly, but she's not saying anything. It looks a lot like chewing. She must have stuffed her mouth full of popcorn before she went on. She shoots me a conspiratorial look. I don't know if she knows I've figured out what she was doing, or she's simply saying hi. I wait a while, just observing the other people here. People come and go. Some walk around the rope barriers, trying to find the trick's angle. Everyone speculated about the staff and the carpet. When I look back at her, I almost laugh out loud. While she still has one hand on the staff, her other hand is currently under her cheek, as if she's preparing for a quick snooze. Her head is leaning further and further into her palm, and her eyes are closing. Ahem. Ahem. Everyone whips their head around to look at me, which is perfect because they miss Yan's head snapping up and almost falling off. Sorry. I look at her. She hurriedly sits up and lifts her head. Things go smoothly after that, although she looks ready to doze off every other minute. An eternity later, the curtain crew arrive. Return. She shrugs off the jacket and heads back over to me. I didn't ask you to wait. I was enjoying the act. She's not an act, it's just sitting on a thing while wearing a thing. Yeah, I could guess how the mechanism works. I can tell you were bored. Please ask me your questions now or I'm really going to fall asleep. Let's ask her about the attack then. I can't be sure whether the attack has anything to do with the case yet, and it is rather embarrassing. Sure I want to tell her about this? What's the worst that could happen? Fine. I hope this doesn't lead to questions about my competency. Someone hit you in the head? And took your clothes? Yes, assault and robbery, hilarious stuff. But you're a detective. That's like if a lifeguard drowned. Or if a magician known for a knife-throwing trick gets stabbed through the heart. Trust me, I'd very much like to question my past self too. Because you don't even remember why? This is like one of Chip's fake stories. I'm very much regretting the choice to tell her this. Did you tell your mum someone hit you in the head? No, I'm sure she won't be happy to hear that, so let's hope she doesn't. Alright, well, nothing useful there then. The trick revealed? You said you've tried knife throwing yourself. Yeah, I'm not very good at it. I thought about getting Hattie to teach me, but she didn't like me. And AD won't help convince her because she doesn't like me touching knives. Right, sensible of her. But when you practiced, did you notice anything about the board? What do you mean? Was there anything at the back of the board? No. Why would there be anything... Apparently there's some sort of mechanism at the back of the board. Who told you that? I've seen the back of the board. It's empty, unless your mechanism is invisible. Of course, what she saw was the duplicate board that Aideen told me about. What you saw was the dupe. They have a mechanism on the real one. Who told you that? I'm not even supposed to tell you about this. It's supposed to be top secret, not to be shared with anyone because it's a magician's livelihood. I can't say I completely understand, but I don't want to be the person that breaks the rule. You already did. You told me. Well, if you don't tell anyone else, the secret will be safe. Fine, but you have to tell me who told you about the board. Maybe they're lying to you, you know. Your sister did. Your sister did. Why didn't she tell me? Did you just forget everything I said about secrets and livelihoods? I know, but I'm me. I'll ask her about it later. Well, we're not going to tell her about the autopsy. I've asked her about the bobby pin and the trophy. Alright, I might leave it there with her for now then. Got Chip, I suppose. We've already told him about the attack, haven't we? Alright, we've got on the trophy, done the bobby pin. We're not going to be able to do the autopsy. Asking about his hat. So you knew all along Aideen borrowed your hat and went out on Monday. I didn't know where she was planning to go or with whom. Before you say anything, I didn't know what she said she did that afternoon. But yeah, when she returned the hat, she apologized for taking it out in the rain. So I guess she must have went out on Monday. Alright, well, we didn't have to spend anything on that. He's done the trick reveal. No contradiction. What does he think about Echo? What do you think about Echo, the puppeteer? What do I think? He throws his head back in laughter in a way that indicates I should already know how he feels. You've met him, right? I have, yes. Well, what do you think of him? I don't know him that well yet, but he, doesn't seem like the easiest person to get along with. And the Pacific Ocean's just a puddle. You ask what I think about him? I think Pinocchio is called creepy and villainous. You can count the number of people he's ever cared about in half a hand and still have fingers left over, because it would just be himself. You call him Pinocchio to his face? What? That's a compliment. If I should be sorry to anyone, it's to Pinocchio the puppet, because he doesn't deserve that. The puppet is cute, and frankly looks more human than Echo. It's a shame we can't reverse Pinocchio, that guy, because I'm pretty sure he doesn't have enough feelings to be considered a real boy. And yeah, he grinds his teeth when he sleeps. It sounds like someone's cutting a skeleton with a bone saw. Must be his mouth's way of enacting revenge since he has so little use for it during the day. Whoa, did you practice that whole speech? He grins, white teeth gleaming through his smile. No rehearsal. Straight from the heart, darling. Alright, well I think I've gotten the point. You don't like him. Yet you're roommates. I didn't have a choice. I would rather go sleep with roast animals, but I don't want to get elephants shit on my hats. They don't deserve that. Fair enough. He's not keen. Oh, I don't know. I was kind of banking on talking to everyone about the murder weapon, but we've talked about the attack. No contradictions. Alright, what about Aideen? What do you think about Aideen? Are you familiar with Aideen, the fire dancer? Of course, you've met the sisters. Yes, I have. He nods and laughs to himself. Here's a fun story. A few years ago, right around when Jan first joined the circus, I began to think our circus was haunted. The complete turn in topics gives me whiplash. What does that have to do with what? I kept waking up in the middle of the night, like 3 or 4 in the morning, to hear a woman singing. It wasn't in English. In fact, it wasn't in any language I could recognize, which I thought must mean it was some cursed tongue. And it followed me through different cities, which really freaked me out. I was so freaked out, in fact, that I woke Echo, which you can bet he wasn't happy about. I had to bring someone with me to investigate. Then I could have thrown him in front of the ghost if it attacked. What does this have to do with either Aideen or Jan? On a completely unrelated note, did you know Aideen has been my neighbour since she joined? And when she took Jan under her care, she obviously became my neighbour too. So it was Aideen singing? Why? Well, after Echo and I went out in our sleeping clothes, and let me tell you, it was freezing, we figured out the sound was coming from. It was inside their train car. We figured it would be crazy to knock. Yeah, because that's the craziest part about this. Anyway, I tried peeking in from the windows. It was Aideen singing a Jan. Some kind of lullaby she learned when she was younger, probably. Why would she be doing that so late at night? They turned their lights off way earlier than that. I'd wager it's because Jan was waking up in the middle of the night and taking Aideen with her. Maybe because she wasn't used to the environment. Or maybe it's because she was having nightmares. I'd never asked either of them about it, and I doubt they even know Echo and I could hear. At least I got to sleep sounder knowing where the voice was coming from. She has a nice singing voice, actually. She'd make a good opera singer. Interesting. I wouldn't mind asking Rolf about Aideen. Maybe Aideen about Rolf. Let's do that, in fact. I just feel like I'm not making any good headway at the moment. What's your relationship with the animal trainer, Rolf? What's my relationship with him? I guess I would say we're friends after being co-workers for such a long time. And what prompted you to have a romantic stroll in the fields one afternoon with just a regular co-worker friend? It's true, we're not seeing each other yet. The operative word being yet? She laughed slightly, taking my questions in stride. There might be something between us, yeah, but I don't want to... Don't go spreading the word on this. There was a reason we chose to go away from the circus. The folks here ruin a gossip mill like you wouldn't believe. Comes with being in a small community holed up in trains most days. Ah. There might be something romantic between Aideen and Rolf, but it's still in its infancy. Aideen isn't ready for her colleagues to learn about it just yet, so they're keeping it a secret for now. Okay, we could go ask Rolf about it. I mean, presumably he knows, so... Just not getting any XP here. Alright, Rolf. What's going on? Spill the deets. So, you and Aideen. He doesn't look me in the eyes, still avoidant and shifty, as if uncomfortable with the subject. But he can't stop the corners of his mouth from lifting. Yeah. How did that happen? Is it recent? Yeah, it's new. But you two have known each other for a while, right? What changed? Well, you'd have to ask her. For me, it's not so new. She's a very beautiful woman. No, well, I remember when I started, when I felt, yes. One of my mares, Toasty, was pregnant. Okay, I can't see how this leads to that, but I'll let him go on. I was worried she was about to give birth in the middle of the night when I wasn't there to help, so I stayed up with her 3 nights in a row, and she still hadn't given birth. Aideen was pretty new in the circus, and Jan wasn't even here yet, but when she noticed that I was practically falling asleep in the middle of my shows, she asked me what was up. And when I told her, she offered to help. She said she'll stay up in the stables while I took a nap. And I told her it wouldn't be pretty. Horses get restless when they are falling. There's no chance for you to doze off. A lot of peeing and pooping. Oh, the smell alone. She looked a little intimidated, but she insisted she wanted to help. So that night, I went to sleep while Aideen stayed watching Toasty. I got a good 4 hours of sleep before she woke me up at 3 a.m., telling me it looked like the water had broken. I went with her to check, but it wasn't good. We couldn't see the forder's head. It looked like she was stuck. Toasty was whining. Aideen was so worried and asked me what we could do. Truthfully, I didn't have much of an idea. I told her we should wait. Maybe things will sort themselves out. So we stood there watching. An hour later, things were looking worse. I had to try something. In better circumstances, I'd never let a lady like her see me reaching my hand inside a falling horse, but, yeah. They were so embarrassed, but much more worried about Toasty and her fall. I tied 2 ropes around the foal's legs inside her mother's womb and started pulling as hard as I could, but it wouldn't budge. I turned to Aideen looking worried and terrified, and I thought, hell, I figured this lady would already hate me for making her sit through this. Might as well ask one more thing. You asked her to pull with you.
And she did. We pulled and it came through. You can't imagine the joy both of us had when the foal came out, wet and wrapped in the placenta, but breathing and blinking. Toasty was licking her clean and she was standing up straight no long after. It was a miraculous sight. And that's when the sun came up and I looked at her, stinky and sweaty with bloodshot eyes and her red hair sticking in her face, smiling and petting the foal. And that's when you fell in love. Maybe not then, but certainly when she didn't hate me for it. Actually, she thanked me for the experience and for saving the foal.
Ah, okay. Good info, though. So, is it now moving in the direction that there's a bit of a love triangle thing between Rolf, Aideen, and Hattie? Possible motive there? He seems like such a gentle giant, though, doesn't he? Rolf. He's probably one of the ones I suspect least, to be honest. But you never know, I guess. Right, well. So this isn't when we meet the killer. I don't really have anything on my books now. As Jackie, is there anything we really want to find out more about? Tito's in the office with Moses. We can maybe check out what they're off doing. When I enter the office, I see someone I would never have expected. Moses is seated behind the desk as always, but Tito, the 10-year-old fortune teller, is sitting right across from Moses. The documents and books on the table have been moved to the sofa. In their places are several plates of food. There's a large casserole dish in the middle. On one side is a plate with sugar cookies, and on the other a plate with browning apple slices.
Oh, hi, Miss Jackie. Come in, please. Have you met Tito yet?
I have. He gave me a reading, too.
Oh, well, you caught us at a good time. We're just having dinner. Have you had anything yet? Feel free to join us. We have ham and potato casserole today with some fruit and dessert. If you need anything to drink, I've got water in the bottle over there. I can also make tea if you'd like.
Tito has been silently observing us, but he suddenly interjects. If you want milk, there's a glass here, too. Moses pauses in surprise and chuckles.
Right, Tito has a glass of milk that he's about to finish, isn't he? But I'm sure he's happy to share a little bit if you favor milk in your tea.
Tito sighs and pushes the glass of milk a little further away from him. Apparently the kid doesn't like milk. I'm glad Moses is making him drink it. I think water is good for me. I'll let him have the milk. I'll have some casserole if you have enough left. Moses gives me an amused look and turns back to Tito.
You know, I wish I drank more milk when I was younger.
Tito looks pained. I cover my mouth to stop myself from laughing at his expression. Looks like even Moses can't resist a good "when I was younger" speech.
It helps you grow, you know. If my family could have afforded it when I was younger, perhaps I'd be taller. I always wondered about that.
Tito doesn't speak initially, just circling the rim of the glass with his fingers. Then he looks directly at Moses. If that's the case, then I insist you have it. A quiet standoff ensues. The whole scene is hilarious. I've only seen Moses as a serious and authoritative businessman, not as a tired pseudo-grandparent. Tito was obviously not a spoiled kid, so his general reluctance is entertaining. Ahem. Both whip their head around to look at me, simultaneously glaring and asking for help. How about this? Do you have another glass?
Sure, there's a bunch in my cabinet.
You can both have half a glass. How about that? If that needs to be the case, why don't you share with us too? Are you just trying to decrease your share from a half to 1/3? He looks like he's trying not to smile. I insist. Well, all right. All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. We drink. Tito struggles but downs. You'd think we forced hemlock on him.
Nah, that wasn't so bad, was it?
Ahem.
Right, Miss Jackie, do you have a reason for visiting? Did you need me for anything?
Well, let's start with Tito, because we haven't actually really asked him any questions. He hasn't really been available for that. What do you need me for?
Tito?
The big show is coming up in the next hour. I have a feeling, Miss Jackie, that what's destined is about to come to pass, and I'm afraid I've done all I can. Would you like to speak with Moses? I'll finish my meal.
What?
You two should talk. Mysterious. All right, I'll speak with Moses. All right, well, let's have a think about what we want to ask him about. I don't know if I do, particularly. Oh, we could ask people about this broken bolt, couldn't we? That's one thing we could ask about. I don't necessarily think we need to ask Moses about it, so let's have another think. I mean, Yan is a bit of a suspect for this, I think, isn't she? Let's head to their car. When I reach my hand out to the train door to knock, I realise it's already open. Finally, I'm starving. Oh, it's you. Aideen standing in the middle of the room, excited to see me come in, but disappointed to realise it wasn't who she was waiting for. Are you expecting someone else? Yeah, Yan went to fetch dinner for the two of us a few minutes ago. That's when someone burst through the door, yelling. Hot, 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 ouch, hot, hot, hot. Oh, there she is. Yan rushes in like a tiny whirlwind of yellow and blue fabric and black hair, dumping whatever she was holding onto the table with an loud clang that makes both me and Aideen flinch. That's when she looks up and notices me. Hey? Aideen has already walked over to the table where Yan just dropped the casserole by the time Yan and I finish our greetings. You carried this here without gloves? It didn't feel that hot when I got it, and it started walking and I swear it got hotter and hotter. Give me a hand. Oh, sorry, that's me, my voice. Give me your hands. Do you need some cold water? I'm fine. She still reluctantly puts her hands out, which Aideen immediately grabs for a closer examination. I've just realised this is the first time they've been speaking in the same conversation, which makes me giving them both very similar accents start to feel a bit awkward. See, fine. I have the thick skin thingy from the training. Calluses. They're called calluses. Whatever. Didn't burn me. Next time, ask them for a wet towel or some oven gloves or something. Okay. She's just saying yes to end the conversation. Been there before. If it burns your hand, imagine trying to climb a rope ladder with that. Ow. Alright, I get it. No burning. Aideen rolls her eyes and invites both of us to the table, dragging the chair from her vanity desk over to accommodate me. Jackie, have you eaten yet? Come, have some with us. This might not be enough for the three of us, but you're in luck. Aideen sets utensils on the table and walks over to the little stove, heating the tea kettle on the other end of the room. No! Aideen starts laughing. I'm sorry, what's happening? Yan looks at me with gritted teeth. That's my sweet potatoes. Come on, there's enough going around. Aideen opens the burner under the stove and fishes out a few foil-wrapped sweet potatoes. A casserole may not be enough for the three of us, so it's a good thing I had these cooking. One for each of us. Agreed? Yan shoots me a look, and I just know she'd be having two of them if I weren't here. If I were a kinder adult, I would let her have mine, but the sweet potatoes look too good to pass up with perfectly crispy skin and gooey orange interior. Sounds amazing. Thank you for sharing. I was wondering if I was going to eat before dinner. Yan sighs with exaggerated disappointment, and we all sit down at the table to dig into our meal. It's so good. I love a casserole. So, Jackie, are you excited? Nervous for the show tonight? It's your first time performing at Morgan's travelling circus, but you'll have to pretend. That must be a lot of pressure. Yes, I hope everything will go smoothly. Well, if there's anything I can help with, just let me know. Well, we'll talk to them both. Let's start with Aideen then. Of course. Boring. You can talk over there. I'm still eating. Sure. So, let's ask about this broken bolt thing, see if she knows anything about it. Did you see one of the bolts on the door was broken near the stable? Huh? Have you been to the stable recently? I have, but I didn't really, Huh? Now that you mention it, yeah. I think one of the doors was fixed with ropes. Yes, do you know what happened there? I've no idea. Wasn't it always broken? We're used to dealing with places that had a strong wind away from falling down. So you didn't notice it was broken? I don't think so. Which horse was in the stall? The black one. Oh, Obsidian, yeah. I think when I went to play with him Tuesday, the door was already like that. What's the matter? Why are you asking about the door? Oh, I'm just curious. Thought someone may have broken it. But the door's unlocked. If anyone needs to open it, they could have just unbolted it. Well, that's true, but what if you were the horse? I was. Oh, no, Obsidian's a good boy. He's been with Rolf forever. He wouldn't do something like that. Alright. Didn't mean to impugn Obsidian. Okay, let's just think. Who could we ask? Well, we haven't talked to Aideen about Jan and vice versa. I mean, I guess we could talk about that. Rolf as well. But let's go around and just ask everyone about this broken bolt first. Let's switch to Jan here. Do you know what happened to the stables while one of the door's bolts is broken? Oh yeah, that was Obsidian's fault. Have you seen the bite marks by the calliope? He did those too. What happened to him? I guess he's scared of thunder, so when it rained he got agitated and broke out. Maybe he was looking for Rolf. And where was Rolf at the time? I don't know. He came looking for Obsidian later, when he came back to the stables and found the door open. Remember the bite marks I told you about? Those were the Rolf found when chewing the poles by the fair. Well, I'm not allowed to go there. I see. Okay, well, let's leave them to it for now. I don't want to ask questions that aren't seemingly immediately pertinent. Let's go backstage and talk to Echo. See what he knows about it. Have you been in the stables recently? No. Have you seen that one of the stable doors has a broken bolt? I just told you I haven't been to the stables. Unless someone chopped down that door and carried it here, how would I have seen it? Fair point. Yeah, let's leave Echo for now. Let's go over here. Maybe we can ask Rolf about it. Alice is still standing by the stable door testing her handiwork when I hear heavy footsteps behind me. Unsurprisingly, it's Rolf carrying a big basket like the ones you use for a picnic.
I'm carrying dinner. Want to share with us?
I turn a point at Alice. Do you have enough for all three of us? She's had about 3 dinners now. Jackie, gosh, she can pack it away, can't she?
Yes, of course. I brought a ton of sandwiches.
He waves me and Alice over and arranges the hay bales to form a makeshift table. We sit down cross-legged on the ground as Rolf starts pulling out food from his little basket.
Here, Miss Jackie, how many sandwiches do you want?
How many do you have? Rolf starts pulling out 4, 5, 6, 8 paper-wrapped sandwiches and some sliced apples. How many people did you think would be having dinner with you?
No, I didn't know you were gonna be here, so is this not enough? I got 5 for myself. I was afraid 2 wouldn't be enough for Alice, so I got 3. I thought if she wasn't gonna finish it, I could finish it for her. Sorry, I eat a lot. I'm a big guy, so...
2's enough for me, so she can have one of mine.
No, that's perfect. I'll have 4, so you can have 1 from her and 1 from me. All good? I can give you another one too. Don't worry, if I get hungry, I'll just get some more from the kitchen.
No, 2's more than enough. I've already had 2 casseroles and a third of a glass of milk. Thank you both. In the time it takes Rolf to wolf down 3 of his sandwiches, Alice and I have barely finished our first one. So
Alice, I saw you with the tools. Is the stable door fixed?
Yeah, replaced the bolt, tested it, should be no issue.
Right, thank you so much. Really, I'm sorry about Obsidian. If it weren't for you, I don't know what to do about this door. We would have to probably pay someone else to fix it.
Alice ducks her head under the praise, staring at the sandwich in her hand. Well, you brought me dinner, so, you don't have to... I know Obsidian's yours. What you did for him, that was really kind.
What I did for him?
I'm confused, but why is Rolf confused too? I mean, I've been thinking about how you didn't just leave him behind when you came here.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden?
I just think it's really lucky for him. I just remembered it's all. Oh, she's talking about how Rolf brought obsidian from his previous boss. Rolf told me about it earlier. How Moses helped him buy obsidian and bring him along, even when the owner had set such an unreasonable price to dissuade him. Rolf's eyes quickly flicked to me. He looks like he doesn't know how to react to the praise. If it were not for the seriousness of the conversation, I'd be laughing. The expression on his face is practically identical to Alice's from earlier. Someone might have just left him there, you know. Then what life would he be living?
No, I wouldn't have. If I left him there, then what life would I be living? Obsidian is here. We're his family.
Alice looks down at her hands. I can't see her expression from my angle. Yeah, family. Families are forever. He's a really good horse, too, if he'd only stop breaking things or chewing on stuff. Rolf is halfway through an apple slice as he looks up indignantly to defend Obsidian's honor.
Hey, it's one time.
I know, I'm just joking. We finish our dinner around the makeshift table. True to his word, Rolf devoured every last bite of food, including the half sandwich Alice couldn't finish. After that, we stand up, dust off our clothes, and put the hay bales back in their place. Let's talk to Rolf first.
No, of course.
You talk, I'll be over there. Let's ask him about the broken bolt. I saw that one of the bolts in the stable doors is broken.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure Obsidian broke it. I need to apologize to the stable owner here.
Why did he break the door bolt? Was he trying to escape?
No, nothing like that. It's just that he gets really agitated during thunderstorms. When he heard it, he ran out. Almost gave me a heart attack when I came back Monday night and saw the door wide open and his stable stall empty. I went looking for him, and you know what he was doing?
What?
When I found him, he was right in front of the calliope. He was chewing on one of the poles for the stalls.
Why was he doing that?
I don't know. I think maybe because Obi is a circus horse, through and through. He grew up with calliopes, so when he hears loud noises, that's what it reminds him of. That's what I like to think, anyway. He is a good boy, and an old fella now never causes trouble. The worst he'd ever done is a broken door bolt and some bite marks on a pole. Still, it's my fault. I should have been here with him.
Okay. No still any contradictions here. We could press him on this. So your thing with Hattie.
Can we please not talk about this? I've done enough putting my foot in my mouth.
He looks genuinely stressed. All right. Okay. Fine. Yeah, okay, well, we're not allowed to gossip about that. Fine. Does he know what Hattie's plans were? Did you know that Hattie was planning to leave the circus?
What? To where?
Apparently she got a job performing magic on television.
Oh.
What do you think about that?
Well, I'm not going to hold it against her. I've quit a job before too.
Right, he mentioned leaving his previous circus and taking his horse, Obsidian, with him.
When I came here, I know people from my previous circus who saw it as a betrayal, including my last boss.
Why is it such a big deal? You were just switching jobs, right?
It's a little more complicated than that. My parents worked there for decades. I literally grew up there. Their co-workers helped raise me. I consider some of them my aunts and uncles, my brothers and sisters. I'd never known anything besides it, but I still decided to leave. Some of them didn't understand why.
So if you don't mind me asking, why did you leave?
For the same reason Hattie did, I imagine. Life there was fine, but I wanted something different, something better than fine. It wasn't an easy choice, but it just felt right. I thought about what people might say if I were running back, if they would even take me back. I imagine it was the same for Hattie. It couldn't have been an easy choice to make, but she did it anyway. Having been there myself, I'd never say it was wrong.
You're so damn reasonable, Rolf. We could ask him if he knows about the financial crisis. So I heard something from Moses. Did you have any idea about the circus financials?
The circus financials? No, I don't understand that stuff. Is there a problem with it?
You could say that.
No, it really? Like people might have to be fired?
Perhaps worse than that. Investors threatening to pull out.
What does that mean?
That means we might be going out of business. We? Have I become a part of this for real already?
Really? I had no idea it was that bad. Moses will figure something out.
Well, maybe it won't come to that, but Have you ever thought what you would do if the circus closed down?
I don't know. Before I came here, I always just thought, well, I can go to another circus and another. There'll always be circuses, right? But even if Moses can't keep it going, then I don't know. I can't imagine finding anywhere better. May not even exist. Maybe I'll have to work outside. I have no idea how to do that. I'll always have something to eat, I guess. But what about the horses? And the elephants, the big cats? Who else will take them?
He looks genuinely concerned. I'm feeling sorry for bringing it up, but he'll have to find out at some point. Okay, nothing super revealing there. Okay, well, let's see who else. There's still Alice here, but we spoke to her fairly recently. I was wondering about Chip, but Chip's not around right at the moment. Let's talk to Alice again. There she is. Talked to her about quite a lot of stuff, honestly. I'm guessing we won't show this to her. Oh. Yeah, never mind. I don't know, what... Speak to her about, to be quite honest. Ask her about someone, but who? What do you think about Echo? What do you think about Echo, the puppeteer? What do I think about him? Yeah. I don't know, he's alright. You aren't too bothered by the way he talks? The puppet? No, he's always been like that. I kind of got used to it. I know I meant the things he says, don't they upset you? The things he says? She genuinely sounds like she doesn't know what I'm talking about. Now I'm kind of confused. Am I the only one he talks to like that? Talk like he's kind of harsh, mean, like he thinks you're a gnat buzzing around his head that he can't quite swat? Well, he acts annoyed sometimes, I guess, but he doesn't really mean it. Are you sure about that? It really seems like he means it, at least to me. Well, I've talked to people who meant the awful things they say, and he isn't one of them. What's the difference? I don't really know how to describe it. Like, those people don't care what they're saying, they just want to hurt your feelings. But for Echo, it's more like he just wants to say that stuff. Your feelings are irrelevant to him. So when you're talking with him, I just don't think he's doing it to be mean. And if you do that, you'll get along with him just fine. I'm going to go back and talk to Echo, actually. Talk to Alice quite a lot. Yeah. Does he agree that Hattie was irreplaceable? In your opinion, was Hattie irreplaceable? Well, you are replacing her right now, aren't you? I mean, like generally, to the circus or to each of you. He rolls his eyes. No, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Hattie's a good magician, of course, but there will always be the next one. That's how this world works. There are 1,000 people waiting for their time in the limelight. Hell, ask Chip. I'm sure he'll be glad to have his old job back. Maybe that was what he was counting on. I'm kind of impressed by how he never misses a chance to take a shot at his enemy. But will any of them reach Hattie's level of fame or success? If they don't, it will only be because this industry is past its prime. If it's not a magician, then it's an acrobat. If it's not the circus, then it's wrestling or movies or television. As long as people crave entertainment, there will always be stars. But what about Morgan's traveling circus? Will it survive without Hattie? Didn't I already tell you it won't? But not because of her, or rather not only because of her. If the circus can't survive without Hattie, then it shouldn't, anyway. So bleak. Probably should ask him about some people. Why don't we just start flat out asking about Chip? Your roommate's with Chip the Clown, right? He snorts. The less said about him, the better. You don't like him? How do you live in the same space, then? Trust me, we wouldn't if either of us had any say about it. Does this have anything to do with why you kind of accused him of murdering Hattie? As I told you already, it's not an accusation, merely a friendly discussion between colleagues. Well, he certainly seems to feel the same way as well. I know. But I want to get to the bottom of this. Why? Sometimes people can just dislike each other without a reason, you know. But it had to start somewhere, right? Where did this all begin? Take me back to the beginning when you met. Well, I joined the circus. He was already working here. I needed a place to live, only he had a room in his train. And the first thing he asked me was if he could try playing with my thing. Your what? The marionette. Oh, right, got it. I said no, of course. Then he made a grab for it and broke it. Oh, I can see how that would be upsetting. And he tried to respond the same way he deals with anything else, trying to charm his way out of it by acting dumb and cracking jokes. And when that failed, he tried shoving money at me. I decided that someone has to teach him that a few words and a few bucks won't always be enough to save him. Unfortunately, I don't think I ever managed to get that lesson through his skull. But what can I say? I'm a puppeteer, not a school teacher. Interesting. Okay, one more question. We could ask him about Alice, maybe. Who's a bit of a question mark in my head, honestly, Alice. You work with Alice, the mechanic, right? We all do. How well do you know her? Well enough. She does her job. I do mine. He looks away, seemingly finished talking, but then with some hesitation he turns back. She's amiable. That sounds like high praise coming from him. What makes you think that? Nothing. She's professional and keeps to herself. She's loyal to the circus and seems to enjoy what she does. Offers help whenever it's needed. Keeps secrets well. Has she kept your secret? It's none of your business. I just meant it's important for her line of work, especially working with magicians like Hattie. I see. You know, I just thought of one more bonus point for her. Yes? She doesn't ask me many annoying questions. Point taken. Good thing I'm not trying to be amiable. Right, we didn't really learn anything particularly suspicious there, but the next thing Jackie does is go and meet the writer of the anonymous note in the train. Hattie's old train cast. That should be interesting. There's still no Alice on the map. Why? How am I going to get her alibi? She's never on the map for him. Outrageous. Oh, God. Okay. I don't even know what to do. Okay, well, I guess I'll probably leave it there for now. We'll come back and do another day. I mean, there's only a few people to talk to. Obviously, Tito's not really interviewable. So we've got Morgan, Moses, Chip, and the two Scouse ladies in train car number 1. I'm not sure if I've really got anything super incriminating to ask them. I can't believe I'm still not able to speak to Alice. It's crazy. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, if you could hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment. Let me know where your thoughts are in terms of the central mystery here now. Honestly, I don't know if I have a prevailing theory in my head at this point still, and time's getting on. So we'll see how things wrap up. But becoming slightly concerned that I may not get to the bottom of this mystery, but we'll see. But thanks very much. And if you're watching this and haven't already subscribed to the channel, it would be amazing if you could do that. So thanks very much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.